This is Sydney Grammar School. In the holidays following the end of Year 12 last year, where excitement for adulthood married with terror over the upcoming HSC exams, there was a shocking revelation.
So there was a sexual relationship between a boy at our school and a teacher at our school.
It went on for a few months throughout Year 12, and then towards the end, I think it kind of deteriorated a lot.
There was a bunch of different incidents where they made social contact and they messaged about it.
The kid ended up telling the school counsellor, and then the police became notified.
They informed the necessary authorities and she was prosecuted as a result of that.
The teacher implicated was 33 years of age and the student was 17. The relationship lasted 3 months. Authorities were informed by spring of 2016 and an arrest was made.
My friend actually told me because he needed someone to tell it to, because it was too heavy a thing to just keep to himself.
I don't think any of us really believed that it had actually happened. It all seemed like a joke.
But it wasn't a joke. News spread fast, and it was a scarce number of days before rumours of scandal were leapt upon by the media.
An elite Sydney school has been rocked by a sex scandal with a respected female teacher accused of having sex with a male student.
Among the first to report on the affair, 7 News was legally forbidden from disclosing the name of the school, which would later be revealed officially. They were also forbidden from revealing the teacher's identity. Their solution? To include blurred footage of the teacher's wedding, which took place at Sydney Grammar, making it utterly obvious to anyone who cared to investigate the name of the school and the implicated teacher.
You could clearly see which school it was. If you had any knowledge of the interior, if you even Googled, images like that, you can take an image nowadays and put it into Google Images and be able to search using the image. It's very easy to figure out that was Big School. Not difficult at all. And to find out which teacher that was, you would not need any real information.
The validity of this was confirmed by one of the many comments on the 7 News video. It took only 30 seconds to shatter the report's guise of confidentiality. Many brush off sensationalist journalism like this as being harmless, but one only has to scroll through the Facebook comments to witness a dark consequence emerging.
How stupid is this boy? Instead of being happy, he runs to police. This world is full of poofs.
Probably boasted to his mates of his conquest, and the word got out.
He probably thinks he's like a top shagger boasting to his friends. Oh, shit. It's so freaking retarded.
First of all, he's clearly wrong. Look, I know this kid. That's not what he went through. He went through stuff that was a lot harder than that.
The 7 News report has led to this creation of a totally false opinion.
People have so many opinions nowadays because they get to intake so much information and they have such a limited understanding of what it's like to go through those things.
I feel like an opinion like this immediately just stems from the way that the news had to reveal the story. It almost invites this sort of derogatory, degrading opinions, and I mean, it's hard to read something like this.
That very same week, The Australian contributed to the dialogue with an eye-catching headline, declaring that the teacher was pregnant without providing the crucial context that the child was conceived with her husband. We asked political editor for ABC News and Walkley Award winner Marius Benson for his take.
The teacher's pregnancy, that's just confusing, because the immediate conclusion you jump to is, oh, the teacher was made pregnant as a result of this incident. I mean, in fact, it's unrelated to the incident. So if I was in control of that story, I'd say, I think I might leave that bit out.
So misleading, and I just think incredibly deceptive, manipulative.
Sensationalists showing that, trying to excite the public into making their own guesses rather than providing any actual journalistic investigation or anything.
Following the onslaught of October 2016, media coverage began to wane, until May of 2017, when the Daily Mail made the decision to publish verbatim text messages between the pair.
I mean, I think that was really, really tragic. Can't be described as anything less than that.
I really couldn't believe it. It just seemed like this was tearing right to the core of some people's extremely personal and even traumatic experiences.
Texts may well have demonstrated experiences of trauma for those involved, but does this fall into the public interest?
These things are discussed at conferences in newsrooms all around the country every day. And if I was part of that discussion, I would say, these text messages, why do we need them? What do they contribute? From my understanding of them, they don't add anything apart from titillation.
The very same day, news.com.au and 9 News, among others, chose to include the information that the student attempted suicide in late 2015, months before the affair even began.
I wouldn't go anywhere near that for the broad reason that we don't report suicides and we don't report suicide attempts. It's one of the few conventions in journalism. Suicides are not reported because there can be copycats. This is established, clear principle of past behaviour.
I think you're entitled to a greater degree of privacy when you're talking about something as personal as suicide, especially as it's something that, as someone who's a good friend of him, I did not know.
He deserves to be protected from that gratuitous sort of intrusion into his life. I think it would be affecting for anyone who'd been in that position, and given the continuing story at a wider level, it would be doubly affecting for him. But it's not simply out of some individual sympathy for him. I think it's a very good principle. You don't report suicides or attempted suicides, and doubly again, this is not relevant to the wider court case.
Reporting still hasn't quite halted on the now year-old affair. Despite the pervasive efforts of the media, the student is moving on and making a new life for himself, happily studying in Melbourne. The teacher is to be officially sentenced later in the year. But when will the media be put on trial?